From the News Talk STL studios in St. Louis, it's the Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter. On tonight's episode, Boca businesswoman Nancy Hite, political trivia savant Rich Rubino, and the Right Mind studio band Mitch Murphy and the Murphy Tones. Now putting the fun in your dysfunctional world, here's your host, Todd Showalter.
I don't know if you've looked at my hands lately, buddy, but all of my fingernails are gone. You know, I've been scraping and scraping. You know what I've been scraping? I've been going through like parking lots and things like that, and wherever I see one of these coexist bumper stickers on one of these liberal cars, I just have to scrape them off with my fingernails because I'm quite sure, my friend, that they don't really want to coexist. I mean, they shoot our president. They kill Charlie Kirk. I mean, this does not sound to me like this side wants to coexist in any way, and now I have no fingernails.
I don't know if that is an accurate report, but we're not reporters. I don't think anyone's been caught yet.
No.
For the Charlie Kirk situation.
Not
it's
yet,
Thursday.
as far as I know. I mean, today's
but
Thursday.
You've got to figure it out. Excuse me, Mish. One more thing. Mr. Columbo here, and
Columbo, yeah.
it was a shadowy figure.
Yeah. That's it.
A shadowy liberal figure. They had a limp.
Yeah. No, see, in all seriousness, no. I mean, what in the HE double hockey sticks is going on? I mean, they're like shooting people now. I mean, this is not America. Here's the thing. I've heard it in the past, all right, that if America goes down, all right, it's going to be because we're fighting from within. And now they've got us like shooting each other. I mean, some evil being out there is just cackling like a crazy rooster. I don't know if roosters cackle, but I think that's what's going on. I mean, we've got to stop this nonsense. Enough already. And I was going to get right into my big story, and then all this has me all flummoxed and upset. And this will be on Saturday and Sunday, so by this point, we'll probably know a lot more. But I mean, I just, this coexist stuff, I mean, learn what that word means, because you're not really coexisting. Back to my story. Have you ever, my friend, ever been caught in a car wash? I mean, have you ever been stuck in the middle of a car wash? Okay. I mean, literally stuck in it. I mean, you're going.
The closest I've ever been stuck to a middle of a car wash when I was in Disney World.
Yeah,
I was at
right.
Splash Mountain, and for some reason the ride got stuck, and oh boy, it was awful. The song just kept going on loop, and at the end, they give you a free car wash when you go down the big waterfall. The Splash Mountain.
Splash Mountain? Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that's all. Well, that's fun, all right? I mean, let me preface something. There's this Sam's, okay? Sam's Club. Now, I'm not going to, point out which one, but it's right there, like off of Manchester and 270, that area. So it's that one, but I'm not going to really pinpoint it any more than that. But it's not a good Sam's, all right? They're always having problems there, and it's just not good. And their car wash is always broken. So I decide, the one time it's now working, which is on Monday, I decide, well, I think I'm going to get my car washed. And you know, my friend, how I have my car all taped up now because like the bumper was falling off.
We were so concerned about this exact situation.
I know.
You didn't even have Gorilla Tape. This was straight up like
Scotch
packing tape.
It was like you wrap your presents with, okay? And I just had the Scotch tape, and I had that. That's what I do because, if I weren't doing this with you, I would be out there, fine-tuning cars or something, detailing cars. So I have my bumper taped with Scotch tape. And I decide, well, I'm going to get it washed now since I've really gone to the extent of really, making it so much better, and now I'm going to make it clean. I go to the Sam's car wash, which now seems to be working. I get into it. All the soap is spraying all over my car with the Scotch tape on it.
I love it when it's rainbow soap. When you go through and it's like purple and pink.
It was purple.
I love it.
Oh, then it just stopped.
Oh.
All right, it just stopped. And everything stops, and I'm sitting with purple soap all over my Scotch-taped car in the middle of Sam's car wash, wondering what in the hell am I going to do now?
And you're yelling, "Excuse me, I am a member," holding up your card in the air. I am a member, sir.
I was stuck in the car wash, all right? And so here's what I decide to do, because, I have my phone with me. I call customer service or whatever it is because you call Sam's and it's like, press 1 for like the meat department, press 2 if you're bored, press 3 for the bakery. I finally get to the right one and I say, "Excuse me, how can I help you? I am stuck in your car wash. Where are you at?" "I'm in the car wash."
"Would you like a cookie?"
Yeah, no, they didn't.
That's
even
the bakery.
They did.
Hang up, call it back.
They said, "We'll send somebody down." And So I wait. So
this happens a lot.
I'll send somebody
Third
down.
one. You sure they're still not down there from the last time?
I'm stuck, and they never sent anybody down. All right, so I am
He
still
got stuck.
I still stuck.
He was behind you honking.
And now my wife. That's right. My wife gets a hold of me. What are you doing? I go, I'm stuck in the Sam's car wash.
You're 7 minutes late.
She
I know
says,
how long car washes take.
No, here's what she says. She says, I know you are because I have your location on my phone and I can see. And I go, well, then why are you calling me if you know I'm stuck in the car wash?
Thought you were on the roof.
No. So now I am stuck in the car wash. My wife knows my location, which I don't know why she had to know that. And the person from customer service never sent anybody down. So now I have to put my car in drive. Okay, so I can get out of the car wash. So I get out of the car wash. I look like some type of Mardi Gras float with soap bubbles all over my car and Scotch tape. And then I got to go explain this to the person. Do you have a hose or something? Do you have anything I can clean my car?
I need a sham wow.
And they said, well, you're going to have to get in the customer service line. And I said, no, I am not. I'm going to go behind the counter. I'm going to say, I need somebody to get me a hose. This went on and on and on till finally someone, God knows who they were even, I think someone taking pity on me, went back it was like the Wizard of Oz, starts working all these contraptions, these bells and whistles so that I can get my car all cleaned off, and it still is dirty. The Scotch tape fell off, and this was my Giant Sam's experience.
And then they ask you, once you finally get up to customer service, what is your problem? You say, ma'am, this is a hostage situation. And immediately she hits the red button and the SWAT team comes in. You're like, no, I was held hostage in the car wash.
In a car wash. In a car. And nobody works at this place.
Well, what do you expect us to do? Well, give me all your money.
Right, yeah.
SWAT team gets called again.
Yes.
No, I just want a refund.
Well, that would have gotten me out of the car wash. Well, that was my excitement. And, and I was in such a happy mood. It was a nice day and everything. We had just come right off. It was Monday, and we had a great week. And you were with me this weekend. We went to the art fair, and so I was all happy. Wasn't I in a good mood?
You were in an excellent mood, and we were matching too, wearing the exact same shirt and shorts, sunglasses.
I know we looked like a couple.
We didn't want to lose each other, so we wore bright orange. We wanted to be cones.
I know,
cone heads.
We were, and our wives were there. Or your girlfriend and my wife. I mean, whatever, same thing. And we had a great time, and we took in some art. Did you think, was there anything there that you just had to have? Because I didn't notice anything that I needed to buy, and I didn't. What was your favorite bit of art at the art fair?
Well, I'm a big Pee Wee Herman fan, and the beginning of Pee Wee's Big Adventure, I think he makes pancakes with a Rube Goldberg machine. So that's my favorite type of art. There's this kinetic art that just keeps going and going and going. There's these balls that get shaken up, and they're on a track, and they go down a fun hole.
Oh, yeah.
Balls in the fun hole are my favorite piece of art. I can't imagine having that on my wall, but I like looking at it when it's at the art fair.
Oh, that was kind of neat. My favorite thing, though, they had this big box that was painted on the sidewalk or something, and it turns out that that's always there. It's like somebody had painted some type of electrical transformer or something. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's right there at the stop sign. And all
yes. All of the light switching boxes for the lights for the red, green, yellow. Red. I don't see yellow. I just go through it like it's green.
Right, green.
Yeah, the stoplight box. Yeah,
I thought those were the best, but apparently those are there all the time.
They're history pieces. They say this is the history of the word Forsyth. Mr. Forsyth was here 100 years ago.
Mr. Forsyth, yeah. He was on Dynasty or something. That reminds me of something else. We had to drive to the art fair, and we also had to drive to Michigan a couple of weeks ago. Remember I told you about that? My wife and I went up to Michigan, And you know what? When you go to Michigan, guess where you have to go? You have to go through the crappiest state in all of America, Illinois. Did you say Illinois or Illinois?
Me? I say Illinois just to see if someone will correct me, because if they correct me, then I know I don't want to be friends with them.
Right, and you don't want to be friends with anybody in Illinois, because, especially if they're part of any type of their government infrastructure or something. Let me tell you what happened in wonderful Illinois, along with everything else. They have this thing. They got rid of their toll booths, all right, because I guess they decided they don't want to pay somebody a quarter to work in them. And so now you go through there, and there are these signs apparently saying they take your license plate, but you're going 70, 80 miles an hour, saying you've got to pay this fine online or this toll online. Okay.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
Yes.
There's a trick to all of this.
It's called trickery. It's exactly right. And so you're speeding at 70, 80 miles an hour, and they're taking your license plate, and you're supposed to remember when you get home or wherever the heck you're going to get online, look them up, and make sure you pay that toll. Now, who in the hell is going to do that? And how do you know what it is? How do you even memorize it? So anyway,
they don't have creative names.
Nope,
like this is Spooky Booth over
Nope.
here. No, it's just 113. You're supposed to find it on
It's
the worst click and drag map. I don't want to spoil your ending.
You've
but
done it?
You can't pay the fine for like 30 days after you've run through this
Really?
little toll booth area.
Okay.
If you try to pay it the next day, they say it's not in the system yet.
Oh, well, they got a hold of my wife is what they did. And you know her. I mean, she's like, oh, if there can't be a late fee, there can't be this or that. And they got a hold of her because it had her plate on it, okay? And she was going to get like a late fee or something. But the only way they can get a hold of you is when you can pay this is when they finally get a hold of you. So now you got to pay the late fee on top of this toll, and it's all a bunch of trickery.
I hate it. And that's why I try not to go through Illinois for the exact reason.
Oh, it's a dump.
And it's never just one toll you have to remember. That you're going through at least 3 or 4 of them. And,
How do you remember all that? I mean, they ought to have that fat guy. Who is it? Pritzker? Oh, wait, is that his name?
He should be running behind you, catching the money.
He should have a little jacket on and be taking your tolls. You got a hold of me. Speaking of that this has nothing to do with anything we're going to talk about. But, usually you're the guy on top of all the shows, okay? The movies, the TV stuff. You say you got to watch this. And you said something about, hey, have you seen this catfishing show on Netflix? Well, I actually had. And you hadn't. And I felt for a second they're superior, like on the entertainment level, but only for a second. Okay, but did you end up watching this thing? And for people that don't know what the heck I'm talking about, there's some thing, it's a catfishing show. It's called, I can't see that without my
Unknown
glasses.
number, the Highschool Catfish, 2025, 94 minutes.
And you wanted me to watch it because you said you were afraid to watch?
I was too scared. I've heard horrible things about this documentary, that it preys on its victims.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's about a cat. Why do they call it catfishing, by the way? I don't know why the catfishing. It's more like sword fishing. I mean, why is it called catfishing? But it's really...
I used to do that in the urinal, yeah.
I still did. You know, you're talking about the one that we have here.
High
with
school
home plate?
sword fishing. That's where I did it.
You know you did. Mm-hmm. And anyway, I just thought this was kind of a crazy thing that I had seen this and you hadn't. And it really is a disturbing. Should I give the ending away?
I think so.
Okay. Well,
it's
mom,
disgusting.
Yeah. Okay, you're watching this thing. Okay, you're watching this thing, and it's an interview, and I'm thinking it's got to be one of the parents that's doing this catfishing to this poor girl. All right, and I'm thinking, but they can't be one of the parents because the parents are being interviewed. All right. Well, it turns out it is one of the parents. Did I just ruin the whole thing?
Who cares? It's Netflix. It's trash.
It is. It is. And it's too expensive, too. I share it with everyone. I get these things now that says, if you'd like to share this with someone else, you can upcharge it for like $6.95. And I'm like, why would I do that when I can just give the passcodes away? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
You stay up late. I'll text you at 11 p.m. Say, Dad, I need the code. And you just send it right over.
That's exactly what I do. You know why? Because they charge too much. And you're kind of family. No, you are family. You're more family than some people that are in my actual family. So whenever you need one of these codes to one of these streaming things, whether it's HBO, Netflix, Disney, you name it, the Home Shopping Network, I'll give it to you.
I love that. And I promise I won't catfish you to get one of your other sons off of the sharing plan.
Oh,
if it becomes a limit, there's too many people, and I'd be like, you know what, get rid of Todd Jr.
Well, that's what we do, because we kind of like have a big roulette wheel and we spin it around. Oh, grandma's off of it. Well, I don't know, but it's going to be a great show when we come back, I hope. In the meantime, I'm Todd Showalter, along with my bestest buddy in the whole world, Joey V. This is The Right Mind Show. We'll be right back.
Coming up next on The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter, Roth IRAs and life advice with Nancy Hite from Boca Raton. Welcome back to The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter on Newstalk STL. And now a man who is trying to stay anonymous after buying that winning $1 billion Powerball ticket from the Quick Trip off Parker Road. Todd, name redacted.
Hey, we're back on Todd Showalter along with my bestest buddy, Joey V. And now on the line, straight from Boca, Joey. And I know that, Joey, my partner here, he was mentioning last week, he said, where do you think Nancy's up to? She hasn't been on the show in a while. And now here you are, Nancy Hite. We call you the Boca Bucks Lady, but you're much more than that. How are you, Nancy? What's going on?
Let's say this. We're doing the best we can with the volatility that exists in the marketplace.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Things are different from when we started. We've got some good things going on. And the fact that our life expectancy is probably more than doubled since 1960.
Oh, really?
And that brings all kinds of positive and negatives. As a result, we've got to prepare for more years of living and more money.
Yeah, well, what do you do about that? Because from what I understand, you actually wrote a letter to President Trump, and I went over it a bit, but tell everybody about the letter that you sent to Donald Trump and what it had to say.
Well, I haven't heard back from him. I just sent it this week. I have sent him a couple of notices and emails on his True Social page, but as a person who's involved with the retirement planning for people, I'm very concerned that we should pay taxes as little as possible, because no matter what side of the political fence you're on, Todd, whether it's a liberal, a conservative, independent, we all think the government wastes our money.
And they do waste our money. Yeah.
Yes. So no matter, we want to send them as little as possible. That we're struggling so hard to do. So my thought is that I think the president should require all retirement accounts to have an option for Roth accounts, ROTAs. That's where you pay the taxes on the seeds, and when you take the money out, the harvest, you pay no taxes.
Yeah, well, that makes sense, and you would hope it would be that way. But the government, the way they work, they try to tax you for everything. You die now. There's a death tax. They want to tax you after you're gone. Do you think they're going to go along with that?
Well, let me say this. We already have Roth accounts in the system. You can, when you set up your future retirement options, you can pick a Roth account. You can pay the taxes for the money going in. It grows tax deferred in anything you want, whether it's the S&P or the NASDAQ or individual stocks or whatever. And when you go to take it out, it's tax free.
Right. Yeah.
Now, so my feeling is most people, when they're retired, are living on their Social Security and any other investments that they have. So if the Social Security, at this point, it hasn't finally been passed, I don't think, to pay no taxes on Social Security, but we are paying income tax on Social Security. And let's say as you're working with your deductions, your mortgages and other paying for your kids in school or whatever, you could be in the 15% tax bracket. And when you retire, because of a regular IRA or 401k or 403b, you take the money out, that's also income taxable. So instead of being in the 15% bracket, you're in the 22% bracket.
Yeah.
And so my feeling is we're going to have to pay taxes to live in the United States. But I'm not looking to give the government more than their fair share. And so I'll rather pay them one of the money I put in and take it out tax-free.
No, I agree. And then then they end up spending money, the government. You're talking about wasting money. They're putting on, obscene puppet shows over in Nigeria or something with our tax dollars. So it's a total waste. Yeah. So I agree with you. And like you said, the Roth IRA is the way to go because you pay up front the taxes and then later on you don't have to worry about it. Well, hey, I want to thank you.
What do you think as a senior citizen? What age are you looking at?
I would probably over 26 or 27 or something like that. Anybody.
A senior citizen is 26 or 27?
Well, I know a lot of people that act like senior citizens, but you mean, okay, I see what you're saying. Well, I don't. Well, here's the thing. That's another good point that you bring up. Technically, it's like 65 or something like that, but if people 65 now, it's like they're in their 40s.
That's correct.
Yeah, so I think a senior citizen is more like 102.
Well, that would be great. No, I would say once you get into your mid-70s, that's where, I mean, it used to be age 65, we were considered old people.
No.
And when you and I were growing up, if you had a relative who was 65, you said, oh, he's an old person, or she's an old person. Today, 65 is middle age.
I totally agree. And you've got people that want to they think they have to retire at 65 and do this. You know, I don't know about you, Nancy, but I'm never going to retire. Why would you retire?
Well, that makes two of us. Yeah, that makes two of us.
Well, who came up with this idiot theory that you got to retire when you're 65? I mean, that just doesn't make any sense.
Well, especially if you love what you do. You and I love what we do, so we can't see not doing it. Now, what are your hobbies?
What are mine?
Yeah.
Oh, I like to run and I like doing magic tricks.
Oh, okay. Well, this is sometimes our program is a magic trick, but we try to keep it realistic.
Yeah.
Okay, I like to cook, and so therefore, you know, that I like to try new recipes and so forth. So that's one of my hobbies. Yeah. And as a result of that, you know, I like wine to eat, to have with the dinner meal and so forth.
Sure.
So, but I look at, I don't run anymore. I used to run 10K. I don't do that anymore, but I do go to the gym every morning.
Right. And
I do find that starts the day on a positive note.
I do too.
Because you do something positive. The rest of the day is also more positive. The days that for some reason, if I don't go, the day doesn't work out as well. I must admit.
Well, see, I'm able to combine like running with magic because typically what I'll do, my wife will ask me to do something around the house, and I'll go for a run and I'll disappear. See, so it's mixing magic with running.
Okay. Well, that's a good way to look at it.
I guess so.
So you lucked out that way.
Yeah, well, then she chases me, and then, you know, well, that's a whole other story.
And you let her catch you.
Yes, I do.
I know that.
And then you know what I do, Nancy. No, I got to tell you, it's always great to have you on the show. I mean, you have a lot of information. You're a fun person. I got to tell you, the last time I spoke with you, you mentioned, because you gave your cell phone out, you said you can call you at any time. And I say, didn't I say this? I said, what if I have an issue at 2:00 in the morning? Is that going to be okay to call you? And you said, of course.
Well, let me say, I'm up at 3:30 to get to the gym. So you call me at 2:00. You might get an answering machine, but I'll call you back before I go to the gym.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'll make sure it's after 3:30 then. I'll call you when you're on the treadmill, okay?
Okay, you got that. Okay.
All right. Well, Nancy, thank you so much for joining me and Joey. And, I hope the weather gets better down there in Boca. But until next time, we'll see you. Bye-bye, okay?
Okay, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Really, anyone who has any questions, no obligation. I'll be happy to answer it.
Okay, and again, that website, once again, is, say it again.
TheStrategicWealthAdvisor.com.
TheStrategicWealthAdvisor.com. Okay, well,
correct.
Sounds great. Well, thanks, Nancy. Till next time, take care, all right?
All right, you too. Have a great day.
All right.
Stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, I tell you what, there's Nancy for you, my friend. And you said, let's get Nancy on, and she is full of vinegar, as my wife would say. What did you take anything special away from that?
I looked this up just now. It is called a Roth IRA, right?
Roth, yeah.
Do you know why?
Well, because
I'd love to tell you.
I think the guy that invented it was like Bill Roth, wasn't it?
William V. Roth Jr. invented it back in 1997.
Now, wait a second now.
You said Bill.
I pulled that out of my, you know what? I just said Bill Roth. And seriously.
Senator Bill Roth?
The guy, it's seriously, William Roth, and this is for real.
This is for real.
And this is like the millionaire thing we were playing last week when I picked, it wasn't the Reese Reef or whatever. It was the Plug or whatever.
Yeah, the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup is called the Plug Peanut Butter Cup.
Right. But this is even bigger. So I actually picked the right name of the guy that invented the Roth.
First name and last name.
Oh, my goodness. I tell you what, I'm a savant.
Isn't that cool that you could be a senator and then have something named after you that literally everyone in America knows is a thing but may not understand?
Yeah.
What about the Todd POA?
The Todd POA, because,
everyone should be on the Todd POA program. If you're looking to save money,
yeah,
this is the number one way you could save money tonight. Just put stuff in a pan.
Right.
Turn on the stove.
Yes.
That's dinner.
I got to tell you.
The Todd, pull it out of your
And my wife
dining
came up.
program.
She said this, and I showed you what we had last night, did I not? Because when we had dinner over at your place at one time, you introduced gnocchi to us, and so ever since then, I said I've got to try my own spin on gnocchi. And so
Thousand Island dressing.
Well, it wasn't Thousand Island, but I was like kind of in a pinch.
Bacon
okay?
bits.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you had the bacon bits, but I didn't have any of that stuff. So I did what my wife calls, as you mentioned, a Todd POA, which and POA stands for pull it out of your, butt, but a POA.
Yes.
And so she said, great, we're having POA tonight. And so, but I did the gnocchi and I made it with a POA recipe, and it turned out quite nicely. And then she loved it. And so she's a big fan of the POA.
And there's lots of other ways that Todd could help you save money. There's a whole newsletter that you can subscribe to, like cutting the waistband out of your underwear so you can have a headband when you go on your runs.
And that's exactly what I do.
Underwear for runs.
And I have the runs when I go on my run. Exactly. And I told you how I save on dental floss, didn't I?
What did you do?
I take the elastic out of my socks, okay? And I use the elastic because there's so much elastic in those socks right around the part that grips your calf. Mm-hmm. And so I just pull that elastic out and I floss my teeth with it. And I save about 70 cents a month on dental floss.
And then making the kids walk on their knees when you go to the movies so you can get the child's ticket, watering down the soap.
I do it all. And if they want concessions, I just laugh.
Coming for you, Roth IRA, the Todd POA.
The Todd
Saving
POA.
people pennies.
I like pennies.
Since 2025.
I like it. Can you check on the domain for that, please?
What's the domain?
ToddPOA.com.
Oh, yeah, I'll check that.
Let's get on that. Okay. Hey, and speaking of savants and all kinds of other stuff we weren't mentioning, we have a savant coming on next, I should say. We got Rich Rubino, the political savant, and we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, deep and trivial, when we come back. In the meantime, I am Todd Showalter, along with my bestest buddy, Joey V.
It's for sale, Todd POA.
Oh, let's grab it.
Okay.
This is The Right Mind Show. We'll be right back.
Coming up next on The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter, political trivia savant Rich Rubino. Welcome back to The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter on News Talk STL. And now a man who always gives his family gifts on Columbus Day in honor of the Santa Maria, Todd Showalter.
And we're back. I'm Todd Showalter with my bestest buddy, Joey V. And on the line now is I'm always honored when he's on, Joey, because he's a wealth of information. He's the political savant and comedian, Mr. Rich Rubino. How are you, my friend? How's it going?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much for having me on again.
Well, we love having you on. And I tell you what, I mean, there's a lot of stuff I wanted to talk with you about. A lot has happened since the last time you were on, and we're dealing with a lot of different things in the world. I mean, as we speak now, we have the situation with, as you know, Charlie Kirk, which was very unfortunate. It's a national event, and I was saying to my wife, it's kind of reminiscent of the MLK situation. Not that I was born at that point, but do you think from your background and, just history and whatnot, do you think we're reliving that kind of era again?
Yes, I do. I don't know if it's necessarily this year per se, but certainly we had Melissa Hortman, the Speaker Emerita of Minnesota, recently shot as well. Mm-hmm. So she was a Democrat, Charlie Kirk, obviously a conservative. So you can say that it's a bipartisan thing, I guess. But we're certainly in the era where, just like the 1960s, when you had the assassinations of MLK, of Malcolm X, of RFK, and JFK, certainly, we're very, very bifurcated. We're very polarized. It's kind of coming to an inflection point, if you will. And it is a point where the left hates the right hates the left, and the people in the middle are kind of very confused, I think. Mm-hmm. But, of course, obviously the people who perform these assassinations are usually either people with mental illnesses or people who are really on the fringe, but it's a very scary time.
No, it's a very scary time. And even going back to what you were talking about in the 60s, I mean, we were able to come out of that, obviously. And there's hope, obviously, that we come out of this situation. But, I mean, it's from what and again, I wasn't around during that period. I was, but I was just a little guy. Do you think is it just me? It just seems so much worse. It seems like, do you think there's any comparison on a level that it's equal, or do you think these times are actually worse in the 60s?
I think the 60s were actually probably worse in the respect that you had a couple of things. One of them is you had the Vietnam War, which began relatively popular, but then once more and more casualties started to come home, it became less and less popular. You had a lot of protests. You had a generational divide between younger people many of whom were draft age, who were very much afraid of going or didn't want to go, burning draft cards. And then you had older people who were very much supportive of the Vietnam War. So you had that generational divide. Mm-hmm. And that was coupled with the civil rights. And certainly you had a lot of segregationists, particularly in the South of America, who were very much who very much were opposed to the Civil Rights Act, which was passed, the Voting Rights Act that was passed, and the Open Housing Act was passed in 1968. So you had civil rights coupled with Vietnam, and you had certainly it really kind of came to a head at the 1968 Democratic National Convention, because in part Hubert Humphrey, who at least had been part of the Johnson administration, which had supported the prosecution of the Vietnam War, got the nomination over the anti-war candidate Eugene McCarthy. Consequently, in Chicago that year, you had riots in Grant Park, and it was so you really I think that the difference between now and the 1960s, I think in the respect is that you had a draft, and now you do not have a draft. And because you don't have a draft, people can be as depoliticized as possible. They can really be not as have any interest in politics, just pay their taxes and that's it. Maybe vote once in a while. In the 1960s, you really didn't have that because people were so fearful of going over to Vietnam. And this was coupled with what was going on with certainly the race riots in the South, the Edmund Pettus Bridge when Bull Connor, the sheriff, put dogs on some of the protesters. So I think the 60s was actually more of a dangerous time than today.
Yeah, but they didn't have social media, though. Social media is like throwing gasoline onto the fire. And as bad as that was, can you imagine if social media had been around during the 60s, that period you're talking about?
That's a great question. I guess you could say the same thing. What if it had been involved during the Civil War? Because what social media does is I think it gets most of the people who post politics on social media tend to be the people on the fringes, people that are kind of in the middle. It's very rare that you never see moderates never riot.
That's a good point.
It's moderates. The reason sometimes they're less involved in politics. They kind of, I see your side, I see your side. The people that are most ideological on the right and on the left are the ones that tend to post the most. Consequently, they have an outsized voice on social media. And I think that sometimes you see a lot of one thing you do see on social media is, and you wouldn't have seen this 20 years ago, people know other people who are on the fringes. They know their political views. Whereas I think that, 20 years ago, you could be friends with someone and not know what their political views were. But now, because some people put this stuff up on social media, people know what their views are.
No, and that's a very good point. We've had other people on the show. I've had good friends of mine that are Democrats that I've had on the show. One's a columnist for the paper here in St. Louis, and we were talking about it never mattered. It was never a big deal. It was you were this. I don't. And to this day, Rich, I don't care. I don't care. Unless, like you said, you're just on the fringe and you're dangerous. You can believe the Earth is flat and that there are unicorns. I don't care what you believe. We should all be able to get along. Unfortunately, with social media, it's just polarized us so much that I think it's leading to what led to yesterday, and I think you're going to see more of it. But going back to the late 60s, obviously, as we mentioned, we came out of that. What do you think brought us out of that period, and what do you think it's going to take to get us out of this one?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the 68 election, obviously Richard Nixon was elected, but then you eventually had Watergate. So you really kind of put those two together. You have the Civil Rights Revolution, Vietnam, and then Watergate. And then eventually, though, you had the 80s and 90s. Mm-hmm. In the 80s and 90s, there were certainly downturns. There were certainly moderate recessions. But generally speaking, economically, the country was booming and there was prosperity. And I think people became very depoliticized after that. The 80s and the 90s. And then, of course, you had the Monica Lewinsky issue, and then you had September 11th, which obviously was about 24 years ago. Mm-hmm. And then you had Afghanistan, then you had Iraq. So it kind of went back into that, and we became a lot more polarized because of what I think the inflection point there was probably, and I think we were generally in times of peace and prosperity from about 1980 to about 1998. And we were in times where generally both Presidents Reagan, most of George H.W. Bush's term, and Bill Clinton were very popular. But then we got bifurcated again over the Monica Lewinsky issue and the impeachment. And then September 11th happens, we kind of unify. Mm-hmm. And then most Americans, when we went into Afghanistan, it was very popular at the time. Iraq was popular at the time. But then as they both became more or less they became more or less malaise, and then eventually people became very angry at both what was going on in Afghanistan, what was going on in Iraq. And we've really been very polarized since. But I'll say this, usually when you go through a time like this, the 1930s, we had the Great Depression, 1940s, World War II. Eventually had the 1950s, which was a pretty quiet time. Mm-hmm. Just like we had the 60s and the 70s, and then eventually you had the 80s and 90s, which was a pretty quiet time. That would bode that essentially, I think the next century, the next decade rather, should be a generally prosperity, but obviously that's seeing if it's directly analogous to that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just wondering if it's going to take a new administration or something to happen, because as you said, I mean, we're actually taping this on the anniversary of 9/11. It's a Thursday here, and that was such a time. I mean, you talk about things that you never forget. I certainly won't. One of as horrible as that was, the thing I think I took away from it the most was how unified the country became. And as terrible as the whole situation was, the fact that we were all one again, it didn't matter, what your color, your gender, anything, or your political background. We were all Americans at that point. And I just don't, aside from a horrible catastrophe, which, I pray never happens, I mean, I just don't know what it's going to take to get us that unified again, if we ever do. I mean,
I don't think we're ever, I don't think it's ever going to get to that point, because at that point we really were unified. Even I remember you even had, both members of the leaders of Congress. You had Denny Hastert, the Republican, and then you had Dick Gephardt, the Democrat, on Meet the Press, basically saying that politics is over for a while. Mm-hmm. And you essentially had that scenario. Basically, politicians at that time were popular. George W. Bush's job approval went to about 88%. Yeah. Only his father at the Gulf War was higher. I mean, and not because they necessarily liked George W. Bush, because it was a rally around the flag effect, if you will. But that was obviously relatively ephemeral. I think that Iraq, which many believed was kind of, which became very divisive. The Iraq War became very divisive. That took us away from that unity. Yeah. By 2005, 2006, it became a very divisive issue. Iraq did. And I do think that eventually we will get to that point. We're not necessarily going to have that type of unity, but I think we're going to get more to a point where people are a lot more depoliticized, and politics isn't the most important thing necessarily in most people's lives. But that being said, we are not where we were in the 1960s, again, because there is not a draft. Yeah. And a draft is something that really polarizes people.
No, I totally agree. It's been a really traumatic week in a lot of ways as far as what's going on. And so the real reason I really wanted to have you on the show today was we need a little bit of levity. And I thought that possibly, you might be able to bring some of that with, I know you really only do, I mean, you only go on stage on certain occasions, but your comedy career, is taking off. And is there any way that you could possibly lighten the mood, with our listeners and share some of your comedy with us?
Yes, I'll see what I can do. I know that there was a guy named Lance who was recently released from federal prison.
Lance?
Now he's freelance.
Oh, free. Hang on. Joey's eyes just bulged out. Did you hear? Freelance. Get it? You have got to give us another one on the heels of that, my friend. So freelance. That's right. Freelance. I get it.
Freelance, yeah. See, his name was Lance, and now he's freed from prison, so I guess that would make him freelance.
He's freelance. You got to have another one. Come on, one more.
Yeah. Okay. I'll come up with something else. There was a conductor who only worked part-time.
Okay.
A conductor of an orchestra. That made him a semiconductor.
Joey, stop. So going from freelance to semiconductor. Oh my God. Where are you? Where are you performing at?
We usually don't allow this sort of blue humor on the show, because that was shocking.
I know. But it's Rich Rubino. The guy's an up-and-coming comedy star. Where are you going to be?
We're going to play this late at night.
I cannot. What? No, it's okay. Our audience can take it. Where are you going to be performing? Are you doing any stand-up shows in your area?
if you know of any place you can recommend that I could do stand-up, I'd be welcome to come and do it.
Okay. Well,
Boca.
Boca. Yeah, we just had Nancy Hite on, and the Boca's got a lot of great stand-up places down there. If I can book you in Boca, try saying that fast 3 times. Will you
book you in Boca?
Book you in Boca. Can I maybe like get you on the marquee down there? Is that, would you do it?
Yes, I would definitely do that. Absolutely. And I'll give jokes like freelance, and the crowd would absolutely love it.
Oh, I know they would. Just remember, as I've said before, we kind of helped you launch your political career here with the Right Mind Show. I want to be known. I forget about that, okay? I want to be known for helping, along with Joey, that we helped launch the Rich Rubino comedy tour, okay?
I would love that.
Okay. You are on, my friend. It is now now it's game time, as they say. All right? So, hey, pack your bags. Rich, you're going to Boca, and you're going to be playing for those the Boca people, okay? What do you say?
Oh, my gosh, I would love that. I would love that.
Okay, I'm getting on the phone with Nancy Hite as soon as we get off the phone here, and she's going to try to sell you a Roth IRA, and then she's going to get you on the big marquee, okay? What do you say?
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining me, buddy. I'm going to get working on this, okay?
Sounds awesome. Awesome.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Tell you what, that's it. You notice how we do that, Joey? We pushed Dave Robertson into a political career. We helped him early on get this whole thing with, all these big networks that he's talking with now. And now he could be literally the next Henny Youngman. He could be the next big marquee comedy star, thanks to you and I here on the Right Mind Show. What do you think? We're kind of like the springboard for a lot of new careers, and you could tell how giddy he was wanting to be a comedian.
And we haven't made him sign any paperwork yet, so we should get on that we
That's
get
your
a
job.
cut. We get the 10%.
We'll get Michelle on that. She loves us.
Of course.
Yeah, she'll do it. Yeah. What do you
People
think?
would be upset when they find out how much I edit out of their podcast. Sales guy Ethan, he brings this up every single day that he sees you.
I know.
He says, you cut me down to 3 minutes. And I said, Ethan, I only left in the funny parts. I know we recorded for 15 minutes, but I made you look good.
And I think you were very generous on what you left in because, when it came to funny parts, he had about 3.4 seconds. And I think that was just about the period where we said his name, like who he's going to be on the show. So I think he's just being a little dang greedy. And he's already getting rid of our show with all these commercials. Okay, what are we down to now? Like 18 minutes? Mm-hmm. We started like an hour and a half or whatever it was. So he's already hogging all that, and then he wants his own air time.
I know. I've been thinking about the 60s that you were talking about with Rich Rubino because, MLK, RFK, Fred Hampton, Malcolm X, there was this string of terrible killings
Abraham
that happened.
Lincoln.
And JFK, he was the big one.
Yeah.
And people look back at the 60s and the 70s with, these rose-colored glasses. They think, peace and love with the 70s. But it was just as rough back then. And I wonder if people will look back at 2025 and say, oh, it was a civil war started back then. But, all I think about is the love that I have for you in our own little bubble. We text each other funny stuff back and forth. We see stand-up comedy together at home. We go to the art fair. Yeah. And that's what really matters. Just love the people that you're with every day.
I agree with you. And especially the heartfelt, like you said, because I guess we can share this. I mean, I typically, because I'm an early riser, I have to be, and so I'll usually text you something I find funny at about 6:15 in the morning, and I know you sleep until like 11 or 12 during the day, but you always make it a point. I can always see that it says read, so I know that you read these little things that I find funny, and then you probably go back to sleep. But you are thoughtful enough not to turn off your little thing so that I don't know if you read it or not. I hate that. Do you know when people do that on their text? Mm-hmm. You don't know if they read it or not? Not you, though, because when I send something to you, and a lot of times it's inappropriate, because these things will hit me in the middle of the night, and I'll have to send you, my best friend, like this idea or this joke that I have, and you always hit the red thing, and then you go back to sleep. And that shows that you not only appreciated it, but you also cared.
It means I think about you. Like, for example, our friend Dave Robertson, he wanted my phone number, and he asked me through Facebook Messenger, and that is still on red on Facebook Messenger. I have not responded because it gave me a little bit of a preview, and I said I'd rather him not have that, so I'm just not going to
That's the best
ever
part.
Give him the gratification that I read that.
Well, and
I texted you immediately. I was like, uh-oh, Dave Robertson wants my phone number. And you said, don't do it.
you gave him my phone number.
I did.
And then I said, hey, Dave, do you want to buy a Roth IRA? I'm working with Nancy Hite down here in Boca. And then he never wanted to talk to me again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I tell you what. Oh, what a day, my friend. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it was nice to bring Rich Rubino in here and tell us funny jokes to lighten the mood. I think we can all move forward now. As you said, just, have a little kumbaya and love each other a little bit more. What do you say?
Yeah, if you can, just put your phone away.
Yeah.
Unless you see a tree stump in your front yard that has a fun smiley face on. Take a
I sent
picture of
that to
that,
you.
post it, but then put your phone away for a little bit longer and go and be in the sunset with the ones that you love.
I feel like singing a song, but I don't know what the lyrics would be. I'll think of that day. Oh, the car wash.
Bap! The car wash.
Yeah.
I'm stuck inside the car wash. If you are listening now, go back to the beginning.
Yeah,
we'll tell you the car wash
what
story.
What the hell are they talking about? Yeah, well, anyway, you had a fun time today?
I had a wonderful time
I
today.
had a wonderful time, too. Let's go out there and make it a great rest of the week or weekend or whatever the hell people are doing at this point. Hey, you know what I always say, don't you?
Happy Oktoberfest in September.
Oh, that's it, yeah. And also, if you don't have a right mind, you don't have a mind at all. Until next time. I'm Todd Showalter, along with my bestest buddy, Joey V.
Peace and love, peace and love.
Mitch is back there just making, hand gestures. This is The Right Mind Show. Until next time, bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter. To find out about all things Todd, go to toddsprod.com. We will see you next Saturday night at 5 p.m. and Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. right here on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL and always streaming online at newstalkstl.com.